there. And certainly from his point of view, when Harry's explaining it, it's all about protecting the woman he loves, and it's all wrapped up into how he, felt that nobody protected Diana, his mother, and he's determined not to make those mistakes. So whilst
which is understandable, right?
Which is completely understandable from a mental health point of view, and he does talk about he talks in therapy speak a lot in the book. That was the other thing that really struck me when you read it cover to cover. You can tell how much therapy he's had and how it comes out of him in the language he uses. But then, of course, when you actually dissect some of the actual sins that have been done against him, and it is, as you say, who made who cry, and the length of a bridesmaid dress, and as if it's the biggest issue in the world, it just all sounds a bit silly.
Yeah. But it certainly put jaws on the floor the world over, didn't it?
But I think when it comes to that story particularly, in the wedding week leading up to, Meghan and Harry's wedding, the tabloids did their utmost best to paint, or continue, because it wasn't new, to continue to paint Meghan as this villain all week. And I think that story was really central to that. And then for Harry to say...
And what he wanted was actually for the palace to go, do you know what, actually your narrative is wrong, and speak up for her. And wanted her defended.
Yeah, and that didn't happen at all. And so by him actually, telling the other version of the story and flipping the script was him defending her and him saying, actually, this is another opportunity, or this is the opportunity for me to fight back against all the stories that were told about them, and for them to speak about themselves.
We should point out as well, actually,
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're unravelling a royal conundrum that's been the talk of the town, the infamous Who Made Who Cry story. Sounds like a plot from a daytime soap opera, right? But this is no fiction. This is a real-life dispute that took place during one of the most watched events of the decade. A disagreement that escalated into a global scandal, all revolving around a wedding rehearsal. Now, the initial narrative painted a picture that was all too easy to swallow. Meghan, the American actress turned Duchess, was portrayed as the villain of the piece, accused of making Catherine, the Duchess of Cambridge, cry over an issue with a bridesmaid dress. It was a story that stuck, and it was a story that tarnished Meghan's image. But then, in a twist worthy of a Shakespearean drama, Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, stepped forward to flip the script. In his book and subsequent interviews, he presented a new narrative, a different side of the story that the public had been fed. According to him, it wasn't Meghan who made Catherine cry, but rather the other way around. This revelation was like a bombshell. It sent shockwaves through the royal enthusiasts and the media alike. It challenged the initial narrative and raised questions about the authenticity of the stories we hear and believe. So what's the truth? Who really made who cry? The answer might depend on who you ask. But one thing is certain. Prince Harry's decision to step forward with this new narrative has not only changed the dynamics of this story, but has also sparked a conversation about the media's role in shaping perceptions. At first, the public was led to believe Meghan made Catherine cry, but in Harry's book and interviews he changes that narrative completely. It wasn't Meghan, it was Catherine. Now, here's where it gets real. The Who Made Who Cry controversy was not just about a misunderstanding or a petty argument. It was a symbol, a sign of something much deeper. The media, it seems, was ready and waiting, eager to vilify Meghan at every opportunity. A simple disagreement over a bridesmaid dress was amplified, twisted into a narrative that painted Meghan as the villain. But why? Why was the media so quick to turn against Meghan? Was it because she was an outsider, a newcomer to the royal family, or was it something else? The truth may be complex, but one thing is clear. The media's readiness to vilify Meghan was a sign of a deeper issue. And then there's Harry. His decision to speak out, to tell the world that it was not Meghan but Catherine who had cried, was about more than just setting the record straight. It was about standing up for the woman he loves. It was about protecting Meghan from the media's onslaught, something he felt wasn't done for his mother, Princess Diana. Harry's decision to speak out was a powerful moment. It was the moment he stood up to the media machine, the moment he said, "Enough is enough." It was a moment of defiance, of courage, and of love. Harry's decision to finally speak out wasn't just about clearing Meghan's name. It was about protecting the woman he loves, something he felt wasn't done for his mother, Princess Diana. This controversy, then, has a deeper significance. It's not just about who made who cry. It's about the media's treatment of Meghan, about Harry's decision to stand up for her, and about the ongoing struggle for fairness and respect in the face of relentless media scrutiny. In the end, the who made who cry controversy is a symbol. It's a symbol of the media's readiness to vilify, of Harry's readiness to defend, and of the deeper issues at play in the royal family and the media's coverage of them. You can really see the therapy language in his words. As we delve deeper into this narrative, it becomes apparent that Prince Harry's approach to the situation is steeped in therapeutic understanding and empathy. It's clear that he's not just defending his wife, but addressing the broader issue of how the media treats individuals in the public eye. Let's consider, for a moment, the root of the scandal. It all started with a bridesmaid dress. How did such a minor disagreement escalate into a global scandal? Well, it's not about the dress, really. It's about the narrative that was spun around it, the story that was sold to the public. You see, the dress was merely the catalyst, the spark that ignited the media's firestorm against Meghan. But Harry, through his therapeutic approach, draws our attention to this. He highlights the absurdity of the situation, of how a simple wedding rehearsal disagreement could be blown so far out of proportion. He's not just defending Meghan, he's challenging the narrative, the way the story was told and sold to the public. And it's here, in this challenge, that we see the influence of therapy. Harry's approach is about more than just a rebuttal. It's about understanding, about empathy, about challenging harmful narratives and breaking toxic cycles. He's not just reacting, he's responding. And he's doing so with a depth and maturity that reflects his therapeutic journey. As we navigate through this tale, it's essential to remember the origin of the scandal. A bridesmaid dress, a wedding rehearsal. These are the mundane elements that somehow fueled weeks of tabloid hate against Meghan. It's wild when you think about it, isn't it? But it's also a stark reminder of how narratives can be manipulated, how stories can be twisted. But when you strip it all down, it's wild. This global scandal started with a bridesmaid dress, a wedding rehearsal, and somehow that was used to fuel weeks of tabloid hate against Meghan. A sobering thought indeed, but one that Harry, through his therapeutic approach, forces us to confront. And Harry? He waited. He waited for the palace, the institution he was born into, the family he had known all his life, to step up and defend his wife. He waited for them to correct the narrative, to quench the flaming rumours. But when the palace remained silent, Harry decided he would not. In a world where silence often equates to agreement, Harry chose to be the voice of dissent. He wasn't going to stand by and watch his wife face the same fate his mother did. No, he wasn't going to let history repeat itself. He showed us that sometimes waiting isn't about being patient. Sometimes it's about realising when it's time to stop waiting and start acting. And act he did. Harry took a bold stance, a stance that would change everything. When he spoke out, he didn't just defend Meghan, he defended their truth. He defended their love. He defended their right to be more than just subjects of public scrutiny. He defended their right to be human, to be flawed, to be real. And in doing so, he flipped the narrative. He turned the tables on those who had been so quick to judge, so quick to assume, so quick to condemn. He showed the world that there was another side to this story, a side that had been conveniently overlooked. But more than that, Harry showed us what it means to stand up for what you believe in, even when it's not the popular choice. He showed us that sometimes the hardest thing and the right thing are the same. He could have chosen the easier path. He could have remained silent, played along, and maintained the status quo. But he didn't. He chose to fight, to speak out, to challenge the norm. He chose love over tradition, truth over pretense, and authenticity over approval. And for that, he didn't just tell a story, he created a legacy. Whatever side of the story you believe, one thing's clear, Harry wasn't just telling a story, he was taking a stand. Let us know in the comments, did the media twist this too far? As we wrap up this royal rollercoaster, we want to hear your thoughts. Do you believe the media spun this story out of proportion? Was it fair to take a private family disagreement and turn it into a worldwide scandal? We've seen how a simple bridesmaid dress disagreement spiraled into weeks of tabloid hate. But was that justified? Weigh in with your thoughts. Now let's talk about Prince Harry. Was he right to expose the truth? Do you think his decision to stand up for Meghan was a brave one? It's clear that Harry was not just telling a story but taking a stand. He chose to protect the woman he loves in a way he felt wasn't done for his mother, Princess Diana. Do you agree with his approach? Share your thoughts. And finally, what does this say about how Meghan Sussex was treated from the start? Was she unfairly vilified, or was the criticism justified? Harry's decision to speak out suggests that he believed Meghan was unjustly targeted. Do you agree? This isn't just about a royal feud. It's about the media's role in shaping public perception. What are your thoughts on Meghan's treatment? We've unpacked a lot today, from the infamous Who Made Who Cry story to the deeper significance behind it, and Harry's therapeutic approach to dealing with it all. We've seen how Harry boldly took a stance, flipping the narrative and reclaiming the truth. It's been a journey, and we want to hear your thoughts on it. Don't forget to like, subscribe and hit that bell. We've got more royal revelations coming your way. Your engagement helps us dive deeper into these fascinating stories, so keep those comments coming and stay tuned for more royal revelations.